Hi, my name is Miss Christy. I'm a teaching artist in the PACE program. We integrate art lessons with the curriculum. We're coming to you thanks to the Acadiana Center of the Arts and the Lafayette Parish school system. Today we will be learning about totem poles. Have you ever wondered where totem poles come from? Well, they come from the Pacific Northwest indigenous tribes of North America. There are several tribes that over time have taught generation after generation how to carve totem poles. The act of carving is like sculpture. You're carving away at wood, in this case redwood. Each animal that's carved into the tree represents a certain aspect or part of a person's personality. In these tribes, the totem poles were carved to either honor someone, to commemorate or to represent a special event, or a memorial for someone who's passed away. Each one of the animals represents different kinds of personalities. For example, an alligator that we have down here in Louisiana represents stealth and a fight for survival. If you choose a cat, cats are self-sufficient, guardians of the spirit and good fortune. My son picked an eagle, and an eagle represents freedom and courage. He also picked an otter, which is laughter, curiosity, grace, and empathy. All of the animals that you might be interested in may have certain meanings. So I've provided a list that you can see, and you can pause the video and read the different meanings for the animal that you want to represent. In my totem pole, I used a rabbit, an owl, and an eagle. For example, an owl is a very respected animal and is thought to symbolize the spirit world. Or a mountain lion, a cougar, tiger, puma, panther, is thought to represent wise leadership, balancing power, strength, self-confidence. Other animals, like a deer or an elk, represent nobility, freedom, and strength. A raccoon might represent the nature of masks, disguises, dexterity. That means that they move about easily and they're strong. Fish or a whale or a shark. For example, a salmon represents instinct, persistence, and determination. A butterfly represents the symbol of metamorphosis and everlasting life. So whatever you choose out of the list, we're going to draw basic animal shapes. For example, a rabbit, squirrel, beaver, raccoon, mouse, cat, they all have similar features. So remember, everything in nature is made of shapes. And once you start learning how to draw in basic shapes, you're going to find that your drawing skills get much, much better. So the first thing we're going to do is find all the supplies that we need. I've added a list of supplies, but in case you don't have those things, you can work with just a regular piece of paper. But we're going to make each animal on a different toilet paper roll. You can use a paper towel roll, but we're going to create these animals individually so that you can change what your totem pole looks like. For example, if you first make an owl, a rabbit, and an eagle like I did, but then later you make a bear, you can take one animal off and put another animal on. The totem pole always has 3 animals. So let's get started. If you don't have a toilet paper roll like this, then you might have one that's white. I have one here that I cut down and it's a lighter color. If you have the basic toilet paper roll, you're going to use just that. If you have a paper towel roll, you can cut it down. You can flatten it and cut it to the size that you need in 3. That's called thirds. We're going to cut it in thirds. Or you can just use a piece of paper and fold it in thirds. So here I have a regular piece of copy paper. So you might be asking, what does it mean to fold something in thirds? Well, you fold it twice and that makes 3 sections. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bend your paper toward the middle and fold it over. And what you want to do is you want to even it out. So see here, the edge of the paper is still in the middle. I'm going to roll it until it's even with the edge, and then I'm just going to pinch it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here I have 3 sections. This is called thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Now, after you fold it in thirds, you're going to fold it in thirds again. So you're going to fold it a little more than halfway, and then fold it again, and you can see the end of the paper's right there. So I'm just going to adjust it to where there's a little less right here, and now it's to the edge. So what that's going to do is that's going to be your 3 different animals. 1, 2, 3. I recommend drawing them first on a piece of paper like this so you can get a feel for what it feels like to draw them before you draw it on your toilet paper roll. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. My daughter showed me that she wanted to flatten hers out and draw with it flat. And then when she was done, she just pinched it back open to be a circle again. A cylinder. So let's get started with drawing. I'm going to move along and continue with the features of our animals. But if you need to pause, go ahead and do that. Finish that feature or color it in, and then press play so we can get to the next part. As you can see in these totem poles, is that there are 3 animals. So the 3 sections I've marked with a black marker here where it was folded into thirds. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I have 2 up here because this is the front and this is the back. If you're working on the toilet paper roll, you're going to either be drawing it directly onto here, or you're going to flatten it out and draw with it flat. The first animal we're going to do is the bird. The bird has a beak, and we're going to start up here at the top section. And the first step, you're going to watch me and then you do it. First, draw a small horizontal line in the middle. Horizontal line is a line that goes side to side. This is the beak, so it's shaped like a triangle. Now I'm drawing an eagle's beak. If you draw a hummingbird beak, your triangle is going to go all the way down to here because a hummingbird has a long beak. If you're going to be making an owl, you're going to make the same thing here, but just smaller. So this right here is going to be a different animal, and this is going to be a different animal. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to start on the right, and we're going to make the eye like a football shape. You watch me first, and then you try. So there's 1 and 2. After you do that, we're going to do another smaller one on the inside. So you go ahead and try. After you do that, you're going to put the pupil in the middle. Do you know what the pupil is for? That's right, it's for seeing, and it opens and closes depending on how much light there is. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw kind of two curved lines meeting in the middle. After you do that, the eagle in most of the totem poles have what kind of looks like an open mouth. So I'm going to start on the left, and I'm going to draw a curved line down and back up and around. It's kind of like a heart. If you do something too big or too small, it's okay. We can fix it. You just want to do the same thing on one side that you did on the other. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be fun. So we're going to trace what we just drew, or you're going to draw it in the middle, and that's what I'm going to do. So either you go around the outside or you do the middle. The next step is we're going to draw in some feathers to represent the bird's body. So I'm going to draw a curved line that comes down and then back up. I'm going to start close to the eye and go down and then back up, kind of like a chin. But then I'm going to create my feathers. Watch me first and then you try. So the feathers are represented here by a series or a group of curved lines. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw smaller curved lines in the center. And we're using a black marker. The next step for our bird is we're going to give it kind of a crest on its head, and we're just going to double up the same two curved lines that we made. So just draw that in and then round its head. The last step is to put in feet, and that's two curved lines down here on the bottom. And the way to create those clawed feet, birds have 3 in the front and 1 in the back, is we're going to create some little tiny triangles in the feet. So you can see that kind of looks like a claw. The next animal we're going to make is a bear. And a bear can easily be turned into a wolf or a dog or any animal that has a snout by changing the ears. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw its nose down here at the bottom. Again, we're using black. So down here toward the bottom, but not on the bottom, you can even put your finger there to measure. You're going to draw a curved line, just like this that I did above my finger. That gives you just enough room for the bottom of its face. The next thing is you're going to draw, watch me first and then you draw, is kind of a triangle shape at the bottom, and then you can color it in. And that's his nose. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make that long snout. So you watch me first and then you try. It's a little bit like making the number 11. This is called parallel lines. We're going to draw 2 parallel lines going up, but not all the way. Can you do that? Next, you're going to draw his kind of like his eyebrows. Watch me first and then you try. I'm going to start on the right and I'm going to make that eye football shape, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Got it? Okay, so now just like with the bird, we're going to draw another shape like that on the inside. If you think maybe you made the first football shapes too small to do this, you can go around the outside to do the outline. This is where you're going to put his pupils. So go ahead and fill those in. Here is where we make it look more like a bear. Bears have round ears, but if you're making a wolf, you're going to do 2 triangles up here above the eyes. But I'm going to do round ears because this is a bear. After you're done making the ears, do the same shape on the inside, whether it's a triangle or a circular shape. After you do that, connect the two with a curved line that goes up and then back down. After you're finished with that, we're going to draw in his mouth just a little bit. That's 2 lines coming down and out from the tip of his nose at the bottom. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw in his chin, kind of a smiley shaped curve, and then you're going to come up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make his big bear paws. And that's, again, a curved line that's going up and then back down, kind of like a rainbow. And then instead of doing claws, we're going to do just lines for his paw. And it would be the same thing for a wolf. The next animal that we're going to draw is a rabbit. Now the feature of a rabbit, or a creature feature as my kids call it, are those long ears that stand up. So that's one of the features. They also have little tiny noses and whiskers, just like a squirrel, a cat, a beaver. And any of these animals, you would draw the same thing, but then change their ears. For a rabbit and a beaver, we would add those buck teeth. So let's start with a little tiny nose in the middle. That's a triangle that points downward. Can you see that? Don't color it in yet, so that you can make up your mind about what color it's going to be depending on the animal. For example, a rabbit might have a pink nose, but a squirrel might have a brown nose. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the eyes, and they're not quite as big as the bear or the eagle's eyes. They're a little bit smaller, and they go to the side. So you watch me first, and then you try. But you'll notice that a lot of these animals have, on the totem poles, have the same shaped eyes. That football shape with the circle in the middle. And you can color that in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw in the eyebrows and then the ears. And the ears will come up and then down. It's like a long curved line. So I'll do that again, up and then down. And then you're going to connect those two parts. And then we're going to round it out toward the eye. The next part is of a unique feature that a mouse has, a cat has, a rabbit has, and it's kind of these round cheeks. So what you're going to do, you're going to start here at the bottom tip of its nose. Watch me first and then you try. We're going to make a circle on one side and then a circle on the other side. And if you think maybe, like I did not draw exactly the same size circle, you can fix it by thickening the line on both of them, or just correcting it. We're going to be coloring it in, so that's okay. The next thing is you can make those whiskers that they all have. I'm going to make about 4. And then you can give it a little mouth down here. So where the mouth is, it's just a small curved line, kind of like a smile. We're going to put those little buck teeth. And watch me first and then you try. So I'm going to go down and across to create a rectangle. And then I'm going to draw a line in the middle. And there's its little buck teeth. After you do that, you can kind of connect the whole thing by giving it a chin. We're going to do a little bit different kind of foot because they have long front legs that help them hop. So we're going to do another number 11 on each side. And then we're going to do 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's its front feet. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create kind of a line that goes from the feet, from the front leg to the body, and then from the front leg across the bottom to the other front leg. It looks like they're crouched down. So this side, I'm showing you the front of the animal. On the other side, I'm going to show you the back of the animal. So with the bird, the first thing I want you to do on the back is we're going to draw in the same kind of V shape that we put here toward the top. We're going to draw another one of those V shapes. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see that mine's not toward the center as much as it could be. So I'm just going to correct that by going a little bit further. It makes a bit of a darker line, and then I'll just thicken it up. That's okay. Remember, this is to represent carving. Does anybody know what it's called when we carve something like wood? What are we doing? It's called subtractive. Just like in math, we're subtracting the pieces of wood that we don't want. So for example, if we were really carving this, we would actually carve this out. Or we would carve around it so that this part sticks out. Did you get it? Okay. So now we're going to draw the tail feathers. And we're going to do another kind of 11, but it's going to be curved. So you watch me and then you try. So we're going to start here on the left side of the V, kind of in the middle, and we're going to draw a curved line like this. And we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side, but don't go all the way down to the bottom yet. If you do accidentally go all the way to the bottom, that's okay, because we're going to draw a curved line and go up, and then another curved line, and what we're doing is we're creating those feathers for the tail. There are a lot of designs on totem poles that you can see are ovals, and we're going to do that with the tail feathers. We're going to draw some ovals. Okay, that's our tail feathers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our bear. Now the back side of our bear is a big oval. Watch me first and then you try. it's not going to be all the way down to the bottom. So go ahead and put your finger there to make sure that you don't go all the way down to the bottom. So you're going to draw a big oval or a big circle. And that's the body of the bear. We're going to represent his back legs by drawing in some curved lines here and here. And then we're going to give him that little tail that bears have. They just have small tails. Up here, where his head would be, this is the back of his head. So I want you to draw a curved line and then 2 ears. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the back of our rabbit. Now we know that a rabbit has like that cottontail, but what about the beaver? If you're drawing a beaver, you're going to do it just like you did the bird, but instead of feathers, you're just going to go around in one big circle at the bottom, or oval, coming off the bottom of your 2 curved lines that are parallel. But for the rabbit, we're going to draw that same V line, but we're going to go down a little bit farther and back up. At the bottom of this, we're going to put that bushy cotton tail, and it's like a little cloud of curved bumps for all that fluff. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just give a little indication of the head with those ears. Now that we have this practice drawings done, we can look at it and we can say, okay, well, I understand how to draw a bird, but maybe I want to make his beak a little smaller or a little bigger. And I understand how to draw a bear, but maybe I need to make his snout a little wider. And I really like the rabbit, but maybe I need to make his nose come down a little bit from his eyes. So when you want to go ahead and color it in, go ahead. Think about what your favorite colors are. Your rabbit can be green, just like mine. Let me show you my totem pole and show you what I did. So I have an eagle, a rabbit, and an owl. And you can see my rabbit is green, my owl is purple and pink and yellow, and my eagle is a lot of different colors. Mostly green, blue, and yellow. Then the back side, you can see how I glued my wings on. And we're going to go over making the wings in just a minute. We're also going to talk about how they're connected. So what I did was I cut out the tail just a little bit. I cut only to here and only to here. One snip, snip. And if you need help from a grown-up to do that, you can. You can ask. But again, I tucked in this side. You can see how I'm folding it in with my thumb and my fingers. And I'm putting the front of my animal in, and then I'm tucking in the back of the animal. So I've done all of them with tails like that. I've also used the rabbit's ears in that way. So you can see I cut out the ears, and I cut out between the ears so that you can see the owl's feathers in the front. Again, I'm going to push that in and tuck it in. So let's make the wings. Start with a piece of paper, just like we started with before, and fold it all the way in half. That's corner to corner in half. And this way we're going to make 2 wings at once. You're going to go ahead and use this to draw one wing, And then when you cut them both out, when you cut it out as it's folded, you'll be cutting out 2 wings. So the way you do that is you're going to use your first 3 fingers. Your thumb, your pointer finger, and your middle finger. And you're just going to put those down on the paper, across the paper. And you're going to start at the top and you're going to draw a line across. You're going to draw a line across the middle finger, down and around both of those fingers, and then your thumb. And when you do that, you'll have a wing, and you're going to draw a line where you're going to put the glue. So what we're going to do is we're going to be folding this piece, and I'll put little X's just so you know that's where the glue is going to go, or the tape. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw in the feathers. This is how I made my owl's wings. They represent all the feathers of the wings. So once you cut that out, you're going to see 2 sets of wings. So we're almost there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut those apart. And you're going to color both sides. So what I did to color my owl's wings was I started with my lightest colors first. I started with yellow, which you're not going to be able to see, but then I filled it with pink. So start, if you want to draw with yellow, start with that first. Orange or green or pink. So I'm going to fill that in. And then I'm going to go around it with blue. But you're going to choose the colors that you want to color with. This is your artwork. So just color that in with your markers. I did yellow and pink and blue to represent the morning sky right before the sun comes up and that owl goes to sleep. You want to color the whole thing so that after you glue it on, you won't have a little piece of white paper or whatever kind of paper you use. If you want to use paper or something that is the same color as the toilet paper roll, use the inside of a cereal box. So remember, you're going to fold it over and see, you can see the white on that side. I haven't colored this side yet, so make sure that both sides of your wings are colored. You can see on mine that both sides are colored. So I've completed both wings. And remember, we want to fold it so that this is the part that we're going to put glue on. I'm going to fold it over. And just make sure that your wings are symmetrical. Do you know what that word means, symmetrical? That means that it's the same on both sides. If I were to cut this in half, if I were to cut the toilet paper roll in half, the 2 sides would be the same. So this part is going to have the glue and this part is going to have the glue. It's called a tab. You can also use tape. So I'm going to quickly draw in the shapes of the owl. And remember, you can pause anytime you need to catch up. The owl has a tiny little beak right there in the middle. I'm going to put the 2 lines that come out like this. But it has big eyes. So this is actually going to be a big heart shape. Can you see that? The next thing is on this side. I'm going to draw a very large circle in here and a very large circle in here. So you can see that I didn't do this circle as big as this one, and you can correct that by just drawing it a little bigger because and just filling it in. It's going to all be filled in. So you can see that that's filled in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give it the feathers all the way around its head with a little zigzag line that's in the shape that we just drew. It's going to come down below the bottom of that heart shape and then back up. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just representing the feathers. The next part is you're going to draw in kind of part of the chest of the owl. So on this side, a line that's curved toward the middle, and then a line that's curved toward the middle. The next part is we're going to draw above its head. We're going to do kind of the same thing. There's lots of fluffy feathers. I'm also going to trace that V shape between its eyes and back around. The next thing is the tail on the back. The tail is the same way as it was for the eagle. You're going to do 2 lines that are parallel, that are side by side, and then you're going to give it those feathers. I'm going to give this one 4 feathers for its tail. And remember, make those feathers long. They use those tail feathers for balance and for moving from side to side. All right, the next thing is, this is where the wings are going to go, right here. So I drew 2 V shapes to show my wings are going to go here, and my wings are going to go here. Above them, I put some lines like this to show that those wings go up. Now you can color it in. The other kind of wings that I showed you that I used for my eagle were a little bit different. So I had a piece of paper and I did the same kind of thing where I drew out from the fold, and when I cut it out I had 2 wings. So I'm going to use a black marker to show that to you. So watch me first and then you try. You can draw it anywhere. I'm going to start in the middle. Remember, we're going to be cutting it out. And I'm going to go a curved line up and then down and out. So it's that V shape again, but going up. Then I'm going to come down just a little bit and I'm going to go all the way toward the tip. Right now it kind of looks like a bat wing, but we're going to change that by drawing another line, straight line toward the tip. Divide this up in right. We're going to draw several parallel lines to create the feathers. And then I drew circles in the middle. You can draw a pattern if you want. Circle, rectangle, circle, square, circle, square, circle. But you don't have to do that. If you're like, I don't like that, you can change it. You can make them all circles. Remember, we're going to be filling this in. So if you feel like this point is too high, you can just fix it and make it just like that, and you'll cut this part off. Remember, you're going to cut it out, and you're going to end up with 2 wings. When I made mine, I ended up cutting out each section with a little curve for each one. Curve, 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 curve. Just to practice with my scissors and show at each feather. So now when I open it up, I have 2 wings, and I just need to color the other side. So I'm going to take this line, I'm going to curve up toward the tip, and see where the curves are? That tells me where to put my parallel straight lines. And I'm going to draw in my ovals. And now I can color it. So I colored one side of my wings. They're still together. It just makes it easy to remember that maybe you colored in a pattern. So I put blue inside of my ovals to represent the water and the sky. So I'm going to fold it around my scissors and just cut. So you're going to fold just a little bit over, creating what we call a tab. And that is where you're going to put your glue. So here's my finished owl. You can see that I've glued the wings on the back, and they're colored on both sides. I have something like ears. You can cut those out as well and use that to make your connections. Thank you so much for joining me for this lesson on totem poles. I encourage you to do some research about the indigenous people of America. There are over 3 million indigenous people across America. And there are 562 tribes in just North America. They have a rich culture of making artwork like carving and basket weaving and ceramics. We will be posting a new lesson every day on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel at 10 a.m. Please join us each day to make artwork. You can also find our lessons on the Acadiana Open channel. That's on Cox channel 16 and LUS channel 4. If you are interested in supporting programs like this, visit the nonprofit organization, the Acadiana Center for the Arts.org. We will be posting kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade lessons. Spread the word. Share with your friends. Make art every day. If you are interested in private lessons, you can contact me at lushceramics.com. That's LushCeramics.com. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you tomorrow.